A drive-by memorial service for the late former Zambian President Kenneth Kaunda is underway. He died last week. Millions of people around the world have been paying tribute to one of the last remaining figures in the fight for liberation and independence on this continent. Kenneth Kaunda will be buried on the 7th of July, 3 weeks after he died, aged 97. Let me take you to eNCA's Mangoba Mkhunu, who is tracking that particular commemoration. And Mangoba, 10 days of national mourning declared by President Cyril Ramaphosa, and also flags to fly at half-mast. But I imagine that more importantly, we are finding out, the situation with flags at half-mast in as far as the disposition of people in their hearts about the loss of one of the last remaining founding fathers of Southern Africa.
Indeed, Tulas, and the African National Congress here in the province today holding a memorial service to honor this towering giant in the liberation struggle of the African continent. Of course, this is the founding father of Zambia's independence, who died at the age of 97 on the 17th of May. But Tulas, this is a man who's really been revered for his humanism and the role that he played, not only in liberating his country, but other African countries as well. We can count the likes of Zimbabwe, the likes of South Africa. And really, this is a man who took a stand against oppression and who helped even other liberation organizations, including the ANC, to settle in his country and to continue to fight oppression from his country. Recall to us that the ANC's headquarters moved to Lusaka in the 1960s, the late 1960s, of course, with the permission of Dr. Kaunda, and also one of the ANC's longest-serving, President O.R. Tambo, also spent 22 years of his exile in Lusaka. So it played a critical role in the liberation struggle of South Africa. Radio Freedom also operated from Lusaka under the protection of Dr. Kaunda. So this is a very important man here in South Africa, and that's the reason why the ANC has come out here to honor his legacy. There is a memorial book. I'm just going to step out of shot, Tulas, just to show you. There is a memorial book that has been set here outside the embassy, the Zambian embassy that is in Pretoria, where ANC members and the general public at large has been invited to come and write their condolences to the Zambian government as well as his family. But to speak further to us about this particular memorial that's being held here, of course it's a different one given the fact that we are still under COVID-19 regulations, and so we cannot have quite a large grouping of people. That's why it's been organized as a drive-by. I'm joined now by Jacob Kawe, who's the ANC's provincial secretary. Babu Kawe, let's start with the symbolism of all of this and the importance of Dr. Kaunda to not only the ANC but South Africa.
Thank you very much. We have organized a drive-in to the embassy of Zambia to open a memorial book where we're asking ordinary South Africans who might happen to be around Pretoria to come and write words of condolences to the people of Zambia and the people of Africa. And we are urging everybody until the great man has been laid to rest that people can via here. We thank the Zambian embassy, the ambassador here, for agreeing with us to create this table, this space where people could come and sign a memorial book. This is also a launch of other memorial services that we've organized as a province. You'd know that we've taken a posture as a province in our African solidarity work, that of building a person-to-person relations. And that if you want to build Africa, a united Africa, develop Africa, you must develop it by building people-to-people relations. And that Kenneth Kaunda represents a bigger picture of African unity. He represents a bigger picture of solidarity, a picture that all of us, we should know that life is not about you. As a country, you can't say once South Africa it's okay. the rest they will see. Kenneth Kaunda taught all of us that if you get all other countries free, independent, you would have solved your actual problems. And that's why we think today a great man is no more, and we must come, all of us as Africans, young and old, to remember him.
Okay. Just lastly and just shortly, perhaps, the legacy that he leaves behind for you as leaders in the ANC, what legacy are you taking from him in terms of his leadership?
It's serving with care, serving with humility. It's being a leadership that respects time to lead and time to give others to lead. He gives us with the responsibility of humility, that if we really want to lead people, we've got to know that humility is the first thing.
Okay. Babkawa, thank you for your time. Let me move on to the High Commissioner of Zambia, Major General Jackson Miti. Thank you for your time, Major General. Let's start here. You, of course, as a country are in mourning. We are mourning with you as South Africa for the loss of the great giant, Dr. Kaunda. Your sentiments, perhaps as Zambia, on the memorial and the sentiments that are coming from South Africans.
First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to thank the leadership, the provincial leadership of the ANC, for this gesture that you have put up here at the embassy. The messages that are pouring in are really humbling. And to talk about Kaunda's, late President Kaunda's achievements in a short time is not possible. Kaunda committed his life to peace-making, peace-loving in Africa and beyond. And his legacy will continue to live on even as we commemorate his death.
And in terms of the legacy, what would you want young people, the generations to come, as Zambian perhaps, to espouse from Dr. Kaunda and what he stood for?
Kaunda stood for humanity. Kaunda, he put his whole leadership was centered on mankind. And that is why he espoused the philosophy of humanism. He was man-centered. Humanism was all about man-centeredness. He never looked at human being because of his color, because of creed, because of anything, but he took human being as a human being made in the image of God. And that is what the young ones now should espouse.
Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us. That was General Jackson Miti, as well as Jacob Kawa, who is the ANC's Provincial Secretary, just giving us their sentiments of the late Dr. Kaunda. Of course, this book will remain here to us outside the Zambian embassy, and South Africans of all walks in life are also invited to come and pay their tributes and write those messages here ahead, of course, of the funeral of the late President Dr. Kaunda, which is expected to take place next month.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's eNCA's Mangoba Mkuno out in Pretoria there, talking about the book of condolences that has been opened for people to share their memories and messages of condolence to the nation of Zambia on the passing of the nation's founding leader, that is Kenneth Kaunda. I mean, you may be writing into that book, but the history that Kenneth Kaunda wrote, his imprint on our history as South Africa, let's start there before we go wider in the region, as South Africa, is indelible and will live forever. That legacy and our gratitude, I think, will endure forever, really, in our hearts. Principled man, and I was saying a few days ago that it took a certain caliber of leadership for him to marshal his country, newly independent, to say our independence is not complete until we eradicate apartheid to the south of this region in South Africa, and we will pay whatever price we need to pay the wrath of apartheid South Africa if we have to bear it. You have to follow me as Zambians and agree that we make this sacrifice. So eternally grateful for KK. Rest in peace.